actually Spanish.
Well, my mother tongue is Spanish for sure. Well, I've been traveling and living also in the U.S. because my dad is a pilot. So sometimes we've had to live in the U.S. for some time and then some other time going back home. But I would say the best thing that I did was probably, try to immerse in the language, try to be part of the language, like listening to music, watching television, like in the internet, like reading whatever I could find, and then talking to people. I think that's, I didn't really learn English in a school. I mean, I went to learn English to a school for like a year or two, but then I would say it's like pretty similar to Agnes, like, just go online, listen to music, watch TV, talk to people, and then practice as much as you can. That's what I do with Chinese. But it's tougher.
Hey, you listen to Chinese songs and stuff?
I've heard like some Chinese songs. I don't understand anything, but like I like this girl Jolin Tsai. Like she's one of my favorite singers. I don't know what she's talking about. Yeah, I think her music is pretty nice. I don't know what it says though, but I just like the music. But yeah, that's what I did with Chinese too. Like I was watching SpongeBob in Chinese. I did. At some point I did. I was, yeah. I remember I was watching once The Lion King in Chinese, and I was so happy because I was like, oh, he said that. I actually understood like what they were saying. So yeah, I was just trying to pick it up from wherever I could, but still, it's hard to read and write.
Okay, so any more questions? Any more questions? Actually, I was a little surprised that none of you mentioned, the motorcycles on the street. I thought that would be a shock to a lot of foreigners. No?
Yeah, it was for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't?
Motorcycles.
Yeah, I agree.
So many motorcycles on the street.
It's true.
Yeah.
Actually, in El Salvador, the traffic is mostly cars. You don't see people riding motorcycles at all. Only pizza delivery guys. But in Latin America, it's I would say cars. Like there's a lot of cars, but not scooters. And when I came to Taiwan, I remember coming in the taxi. Like I remember my first taxi ride from the airport to the school, and I was looking at all these scooters. I was like, whoa, what's going on? Like, why are there so many? But yeah, that was a shock too. The scooters.
Because the shock actually is similar. Like the first time when I went to China, that was about 20 years ago.
Okay.
20 years ago, I think. Something like that. And then I was shocked to see so many bicycles on the street.
Oh.
Yeah, that was really shocking.
Okay.
Yeah, and everyone was riding bicycle.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think bicycles are a thing in Europe too, right?
Yeah, it's a thing.
A lot of people use bicycles as a form
Not
of
especially
transportation.
in my country, more in the north, in the Dutch part. It's really like the Dutch are crazy about bicycles.
Okay.
We not.
Okay.
But just imagine 20-some years ago,
Hmm.
I think that bicycles become popular recently, also in Taiwan.
Yeah.
But during that time, I mean, not many people rode the bicycles on the street. Especially, they really use it as a commuting, vehicles.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, in comparison to El Salvador, I would say that was also like a shock, not a big one, but because people use mostly public transportation, which is bus, taxis, or their own cars. But yeah, in El Salvador, you don't really see people riding bicycles that much. Like people do it for fun once in a while, but not as a daily way of commuting. Not really, no.
Yeah. Okay, so if you don't have any more questions,
Can I?
okay, sure.
So 2 questions. The first one, how did you imagine Taiwan when you first, when you haven't come here? How did you imagine it? And what are your expectations? And the second one is, can you briefly comment on the political issues between China and Taiwan?
Oh.
Yeah, that's it.
of like vegetation, like tropical, and buildings. And actually it wasn't. So I was not so, it was not so far than my expectation actually. It was kind of the same thing. Maybe less messy in my head. When I arrived I was like, oh, it's really, really messy this city, but yes. So kind of the same. You too?
I would say, yeah, like I had this, well, you know, when you, if you just take the computer and you Google Taiwan, you know, the first images you get, it's basically images of the 101, or you get these pictures from different mountains and stuff like that. So you kind of build yourself an image of either a very super developed country or a country that's not yet developed. But then when you come here, you see, yeah, you kind of erase the image that you have and you start making a new image of the country. So. Second question, do you want to go?
I don't know what to say. Actually, I think that people will like speak more about it, but people don't speak about it. Sometimes, at first I was like, it was really important for me that my friends make the difference between like Taiwanese and Chinese. I was like, so important. Here too, I was like, Taiwanese people, not Chinese people. It's really different. And no, I'm like, yeah, it's totally different now. But it's true that because I have course of like Chinese culture and things like that, I think that's so related. That's really close. But the thing is that there is so much more, how to say, like influences in Taiwan. Like you have the Japanese influence that is really strong, and so the life and the way people think is totally different, I think. But maybe like historically and ethnically, it's the same roots. I would say that. I don't know in the present time what you think about like being outside or inside of China. I think that people think like differently. Question of like, yeah. I don't know. I think Taiwan should stay independent, of course, and because you have everything. So why? I don't know. It's a good answer.
I kind of share. I don't think it's stupid, but I kind of share your opinion about the fact that Taiwan and China share language, culture,
History.
well, history. I mean, if you read your own history, you can see how lots of I'm gonna say historical artifacts in Taiwan come from China. So there's a very strong link between Taiwan and China. But I have to say, that's my opinion, that I do consider both countries to be independent from each other. I mean, in my case, my country recognizes Taiwan as independent. For us, China and Taiwan are two different countries, whether they are for the world or not, but for us they are. So I think it's okay to feel independent from China, like in your case. I think it's something that you have to appreciate. But I would also say being independent doesn't mean not sharing. You know, that's also, I would say that's very important to acknowledge the fact that both nations share very strong ties together, like culture, religion, language, and other things, like history, like Agnes said, and all this stuff. So that's my opinion.
Okay, so any more questions? If not,
Yay!
thanks them. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess you guys want a short break, right? Maybe 5 minutes break? Okay.